Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the best times characters from the world of Mario branched out into different games. However, we won't be including the franchise's sports or party games. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Princess Peach Showtime. In only her second solo outing, Princess Peach took the reins for a delightful action-adventure game. Showtime follows Peach as she attends a play, only for a new gang of villains called the Sour Bunch to attack. As she works to free the theater from their tyranny, each level gives her a literal different hat to wear. Whether she's a detective, a ninja, a figure skater, or a mermaid, each one brings new mechanics and some lovely level design due to being structured like a stage play. It's certainly not a very deep or challenging game, but it has enough charm to please Mario fans.
Lovely!
Warios Woods.
Cool!
This puzzle game has the honor of being a spin-off for not just one character, but two. While Wario's name is in the title and he does play the central villain, players control Toad. It follows the mushroom servant trying to free a bunch of woodland critters from Wario, who has placed them under a spell to control them. Toad can clear screens of monsters by rearranging them next to bombs of the same color, forming groups of 3. As you progress, Toad must deal with different types of monsters, along with the increase in quantity and speed that's to be expected. Sure, it's simple, but it's just the type of hectic puzzler to suck you in. Diddy Kong Racing. Hey, if Donkey Kong is a Mario character, so is Diddy. Before the sidekick jumped into Mario Kart, he started his own racing game from Rare on the N64, and it was so good that it even rivaled Mario's Racers. The most unique thing about it was that, depending on the course, players could race not just in karts, but boats and planes too, a level of variety not heard of then. It also had a fleshed-out single-player mode, with an actual story to it instead of just Grand Prix. Despite it being a one-off, other than the 2007 DS remake, Diddy Kong Racing remains a fan favorite of the N64 all these years later. Wario Land 4. After debuting in the Game Boy's Super Mario Land 2, the vile villain Wario was given his own series of platformers. Of the bunch, it's his outing on the Game Boy Advance we like the most. Wario Land 4 is the perfect summation of the character's platforming mechanics. Not only that, but it was a visually impressive feat in 2001, and those graphics have aged like a fine wine. There was no drag to this game, instead moving players along at a brisk, highly entertaining pace. Plus, Wario's signature humorous greed was well intact. He may star in the WarioWare series more often these days, don't worry, we'll get to it, but Wario Land 4 still rules. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Nintendo took the Captain Toad mini-levels from Super Mario 3D World and expanded on them for a full game. Although a puzzle platformer without the ability to jump sounds odd, Treasure Tracker's levels are so good, you won't miss it for long. Each of the diorama-like levels act as obstacle courses to overcome. By changing perspective, you can spot new areas and items to help you along the way. They grow far more expansive than one might initially expect as well, introducing all kinds of creative features and enemy types that play along perfectly with the design. Here's hoping the captain embarks on another solo adventure in the future.
Oh, yeah!
WarioWare Gold.
I don't do autographs, kid.
Yes, Nintendo truly does love Wario. While some characters have yet to get their own spin-offs, Bowser, Wario has gotten a couple. Beginning with the 2003 original, WarioWare has gone even smaller than minigames, tasking players with completing various extremely silly micro-games. Because the base concept is essentially the same across all entries, favorites can vary, but Gold certainly has a lot to offer. Combining new and old microgames alike, it had more than any other entry at 300. And just like all the rest, it excels in its quick pace, for which players must keep up with. Not for nothing, but it was also the first WarioWare to feature voice acting.
Unstoppable! Mash!
Super Mario World 2: Yoshi's Island. Being both a prequel and a spin-off, Yoshi's Island was both familiar and original. It followed Yoshi and his fellow dino pals, escorting baby Mario while on a quest to save baby Luigi from a young Bowser. While it was a platformer like Mario's Adventures, Yoshi had a few things to stand out. One was the timeless storybook aesthetic, which still looks incredible today. Another was his gameplay. Yoshi's flutter jump and his egg-flinging mechanic are now two defining characteristics. Sequels have merely expanded on the greatness here, like finding new ways to give Yoshi a similarly artsy look. And while they're perfectly adequate, Yoshi's first platforming adventure is a classic. Luigis Mansion 3.
Oh yeah.
Some fans may argue that Luigi's first ghost-busting game is the best, but we say nay. The third and most recent game in the series perfects what Luigi's Mansion is all about, despite not actually being set in a mansion. It follows Luigi and co. after they're lured into a trap, with the scaredy cat brother being the only one left to save everyone. Developer Next Level Games had a ton of fun designing different themed floors for the hotel, and we had a ton of fun playing them. From the medieval times to an Egyptian pyramid to a fully fledged film studio. They all brought a level of detail and delight that we simply couldn't stop admiring. Plus, it's always nice to see an underdog like Luigi play the hero.
Paper fun. Dorame.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Technically speaking, Mario spun off from the Donkey Kong arcade game, but let's not split hairs. After making Mario a platforming star, Nintendo gave the DK brand to Rare, who produced the seminal Donkey Kong Country. Many of Donkey Kong's games following the revival are excellent, but today, we're showing love to Tropical Freeze. A follow-up to developer Retro's Country Revival, it's one of the best 2D platformers in existence. Level design is superb, from the lush art style to the actual structure to the mechanics that have us jumping, rolling, and walloping our way through them. It's also incredibly tough while still being manageable and rewarding. As an added bonus, it made Cranky Kong, the canonical original DK, playable for the first time. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Not even counting his sports or party games, Mario has had several spin-offs into different genres. But his RPGs are his best. You could argue for the classic Super Mario RPG, or the adventures with his brother. To us, The Thousand-Year Door still holds the crown. It improved on everything in the first Paper Mario. It took advantage of its paper art style and world in new ways, while turn-based battles were just as addictive. Where it really shined was with its story and characters. Goombella, Vivian, Koops, and a dozen others are so whimsical and endearing that they've stood the test of time for 2 decades. Even though it's not one of his traditional games, The Thousand-Year Door is still one of Mario's best. Which Mario character got your favorite spin-off? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great gaming videos every day.